Hey, so I thought it would be a cool idea to go through the recent AMA. Gilbert Verdian recently dropped into the main Telegram, Quant Telegram, to answer some questions from the community, which was collated by Luke, and Gilbert had a little discussion with him. And it was a rare appearance because in 2020, Gilbert has not really been around. He's been busy working with banks and central banks and clients and blah, blah, blah. But end of year, he decided to drop in and talk to the community, which was nice of him, I guess. I thought, why not just go through the AMA? Why don't we have a little deeper look into it and see what was said and see if we can pick anything out of it. So here we go. So the first question Luke asked was, what OVN features and functionality will be live from day one upon launch early 2021? Gilbert Verdian said, so straight off the bat, right, this might happen a few times. I'm going to keep this loose. So we're just going to discuss and talk about things. So Gilbert, I've noticed Gilbert doesn't necessarily answer the question that's asked. He'll say what he thinks you need to hear. So whether that's a completely different answer to the question, Gilbert will say what he thinks you need to hear rather than the actual question that's asked, right? Which can be frustrating, but you still get some interesting tidbits. So Gilbert's response was, we're thrilled about Overledger Network and what it's shaped to be. Since September, with the help of the community, we've been stress testing gateways, updating protocols, Overledger itself, and gearing for launch. We are getting close to it now and looking at a time in the first half of 2021. What people and enterprise can do with Overledger Network as an ecosystem is exciting, I imagine he tried to say. So a lot of people hung up on the fact that he said, we're looking at a time in the first half of 2021. So you will get people saying, it's been delayed. It's going to be the last day in June. But I don't think that's the case. I think what he's trying to do there is he's trying to shy away from putting a specific deadline. So instead of saying, look, we will at the end of February, we will have this out. At the end of March, at the end of Q1, we will have this ready. I think what he's doing is he's saying, look, at some point in 2021, in the first half, we will launch. And to give himself some breathing space, a safety net, I think that's why he's chose the first half of 2021. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be June. It could be March. Everything from now until June is the first half of 2021. That's the reason why I think he stated that. It continues, in parallel, we've been meeting financial institutions, enterprise clients, and even governments to connect to Overledger Network. Our vision is that Overledger Network is going to be the hub that connects the US, China, Latin America, Australia, UK, and Europe to interoperate digital assets and cross-border transactions. I mean, that last sentence is pretty huge. And it's surprising because I haven't noticed a lot of, outside of the, what was it? It was Quant working with, I can't quite remember. But Quant's operations in China, there hasn't been too much. And to see him boldly stating that their vision is to connect, I mean, essentially the global financial landscape. But China is an interesting one to me. And Latin America. I've not really seen too much from Latin America in our research with Quant either. There was some earlier stuff with China, but it's gone a bit quiet. But definitely there's been stuff in America. Definitely there's been stuff in Australia with AU Cloud, etc. And in the UK. Obviously, a lot of people think and speculate that the Bank of England is locked. And Europe, obviously, Gilbert has a very good relationship with the ECB and with the European Union. So I don't think this is, I think he's saying this is their vision, but I also think he's saying that we are currently working on this. He continues, we've had countries approach us to use Overledger Network to enable a data marketplace for all of their citizens to interoperate and transact identity and data domestically and across the ecosystem for cross-border transactions. I mean, how does a country approach you? That's what I'm not quite sure how that works. Who reaches out to you? to represent a country. But we've had countries approach us to use the Overledger network, which is awesome. I mean, the Overledger network sounds like it's going to be a whole different beast. And when you've got entire countries wanting to utilize it, it's pretty big. And I think the Overledger network switch, the on switch, is going to be the moment that it's going to be the transitional moment, I think, where we're no longer really going to rely solely on speculation, but we're going to move more towards usage. And I think that's what everyone's waiting for. And that kind of ties into what he says next. With Overledger Network is going to enable all participants, gateway operators, and enterprise to transact, consume, and sell data, resources, and APIs to the ecosystem. Gateway operators with the open source connector and connect any data or resource for the Overledger network to buy from them. Enterprise clients can come to you to buy or transact with your gateway and what you're offering, all payable in Quant. Again, putting Quant as the central component in all of that. We've done a lot of work with the Treasury and payments and have created our multi-DLT payment channels. Think of it as a multi-chain lightning networks across blockchain. So I don't know whether that's just buzz talk there, but think of it as multi-chain lightning networks across blockchains. We've even managed to bring the enormously high gas fees down and reduce them by up to 93%, streamlining payments for all blockchains. If anyone wants blockchain faster payments, they can come to Overledger Network. So that's huge, right? So the problem with Ethereum is whenever it gets remotely any buzz or hype and a lot of people start using Ethereum, it clogs up and we get these slow transactions and we get the insanely high gas fees where you could be paying upwards of $30 to $50 for a transaction, which is insane. So to think that just by using the Overledger network you can reduce that enormously by up to 93%, that's ridiculous statement right there. So I'm very interested to see how true that statement is. I mean, is that just up to 93%? Like that's happened once and it's normally around 50%, you know? I would like to see the evidence behind that, maybe some documentation, but it's a bold statement, and it's if that's true, the Overledger network sounds, I mean, unbelievable, really. So Luke's replies, awesome. Thanks, Gilbert. Sounds very exciting. Are you already signing up clients for Overledger Network? And what kind of traffic can we expect once OVN is live? Yes, Gilbert replies. Every client we're talking to has shown their interest in hosting OVN gateways for their organization. So every client. Wow. So not just some clients. And this is I think what a lot of people don't really understand, because you're so used to seeing crypto projects, you're so used to seeing projects saying we have networks and ecosystems, and then when you really look at them, they're just full of other crappy crypto projects that are connecting to them, right? And I'm not talking about any project in particular, you could probably guess, but when you look at the larger picture of their ecosystem, it's just a lot of fluff. It's just a lot of projects that don't really amount to a lot. But with Quant, the clients, I don't think that's the case. I think we're talking about huge enterprise clients. I think we're talking about governments. I think we're talking about financial institutions. I think we're talking about some of the largest companies in the world. I think we're talking about FTSE 500, FTSE 100, S&P 500 companies. I think we're looking at huge organizations. And to say that every client is interested in hosting an OVN gateway, there must be a reason for them to want to do so. So it's a feather in OVN's cap if that's true. We're talking one of the largest software companies in the world who want Overledger gateways to create an interbank network for all of their financial service clients and connecting them all through their gateway to the Overledger network. So who can that be? I mean, Oracle would make sense, right? Oracle, one of the largest software companies in the world. We already know they're working closely with Oracle. That would probably be my guess. I mean, there are others. Yeah, I'll put my money on Oracle there. but I could be wrong. It's just a guess. Maybe there's some we don't even know about yet. A good explainer from our upcoming website update: connect your ecosystem to others securely, simply, and cost effectively. A lot of lees there. Connect your ecosystem to others securely, simply, and cost effectively. That's okay. Overledger Network greatly increases the benefits of DLT, interoperability. So I've had people reach out to me and say I say the word wrong, and I didn't even realize I was saying it wrong until they pointed it out to me. So I always say interoperability. So I put a interoperability. I always put a t in it. Interoperability, but it's apparently interoperability. That's just I don't use words good. So interoperability. I'll try and use that from now on. Benefits of DLT interoperability by allowing you access to the distributed ledgers, data, and services of Overledger Network's participants. This enables you to set up trading relationships or consortia quickly and easily, or to monetize your services and data assets for use in Overledger applications. We've also met with payment providers, cloud providers, and financial services organizations. They see the huge value of having OVN gateways to access new markets and clients to allow the OVN ecosystem access to their internal blockchains, resources, and digital assets. So that arcs back to, look, these clients see the advantages of OVN. They see the potential. They see that it adds value to their companies by connecting to the Overledger network. And if they're seeing that, I have no doubts that everyone else will eventually see that. Developers will see that. Regular old folk, dumb, common people like me and you, right? If these guys, these huge organizations with these ecosystems with thousands of clients and financial institutions, if they see the potential and the value of connecting to Overledger Network, so will everyone else. And a lot of people I don't think really understand just by when you say connecting ecosystems. I recently did a tweet about this, but connecting ecosystems is not just talk, right? Connecting ecosystems is something that has not been done before. You're not talking about connecting, one bank to another bank, right? Or connecting one institution to another institution. We're talking about connecting entire ecosystems made up of thousands of entities to another ecosystem just by using the Overledger network. Everyone has connection. Everyone can connect to each other by using Overledger, by using OVN. It's insane. And think of the amount of volume that goes through traditional financial institutions. And then imagine thousands of them. And then imagine thousands of them connecting to thousands of others. And the volume that then flows through that. And Overledger Network captures that volume. And at the central part of that is the QNT token. What does that do to the QNT token? When we're talking about a token that has less supply than Bitcoin, when we talk about Bitcoin as a scarce asset, Quant has less. We're talking 21 million Bitcoin to 14.6 million Quant. It makes it extremely valuable. If those types of volume can be captured truly in this network, it's explosive. It's going to be explosive. Right, now I need to open a window. So this is very unprofessional of me because I should do this all in one take, but I'm boiling in this room right now, so I need to open a window. One sec. That's how you know I'm doing it live, folks. No editing, no trickery. So, where were we? This also ties nicely into ODAP. ODAP, the Open Digital Asset Protocol, has immense potential and their support has been quite positive. Our vision is that other providers will also create their own OVN gateways and connect them to the OVM. Think of the likes of Intel, Microsoft, etc., as they will all be talking the ODAP protocol. They will interoperate. We'll be the first with our gateways, but there will be many, many more to grow the ecosystem. So Gilbert's been talking a lot about Microsoft lately. I don't know whether that's a coincidence. I don't know whether he's just chucking Microsoft out as an example. Read into it what you will. But it's interesting. He's talking about Microsoft quite a bit. And Microsoft are the third biggest company to ever exist. So maybe keep an eye on that one, right? Let's put a bookmark in that. So ODAP is huge, right? So we're talking about the next iteration of the internet, essentially, a new internet protocol. And if Overledger is able to be a part of that in any way, then all of a sudden we're taking what is already a huge, a huge ecosystem. We're talking already a huge vision, a huge potential. We're multiplying that by magnitudes larger. We've talking about in Overledger being used as part of the new internet infrastructure. The amount of value that captures is unbelievable. It's scary, really. So, Luke, wow. Thank you for the detail, Gilbert. Wow, Gilbert, thank you. What will be the biggest change for your client's community when OVN is live? I think the challenge is the scale of the OVN. We've been doing an immense amount of work in the last couple of quarters to prepare for this. It takes a lot of work, and we've had to invent new technology to be able to deliver this. So I think that's another thing that people miss. I think when we're dealing with something like OVN, when we're dealing with something to this scale, this is something that hasn't been done before. So there's nothing really that they can point to and say, oh, we can do this, we can use this. They're having to invent and create new technologies to make this happen because they're trying to future-proof, right? So they're trying to create... Look, when you're re-architecting the financial system, you have to think outside the box. You have to create new technologies. You have to do things that have never been done before. And this is what Quant are doing. So maybe we do need to cut them some slack when, you know, they're busy or communication is not the best. But look, you should still be hiring people to take care of that job for you. That is not an excuse. I'm not excusing them for that. But they are clearly working on some huge things over there. So when they're talking about creating and inventing new technologies to make OVN possible, there's a reason why these companies are flocking to this, because it doesn't exist until Overledger, until Quant have created it. So maybe we should give them some slack in that regard. Can you share your thoughts on upcoming regulations in the US, especially about self-custody of assets and its impact on Quant? Do you see the SEC's case against Ripple causing any flow-on effects for your business? Gilbert, so this is we're talking about what happened with Ripple here. I think everyone knows by now my view on regulation and how it is a good thing to clean up the noise, scammers, and keep consumers and investors safe. We've been in line with regulation from the beginning and used professional service firms to comply to regulation in Switzerland. So we're talking about FINMA. We purposely didn't allow any US participants as the SEC guidelines were not there in 2018. The things that Ripple did have triggered securities laws in the US. Paying for exchanges, market making to affect XRP price and selling to US investors has caused the SEC to enforce the lawsuit. You all know by now and hopefully understand clearer now why we have made these business decisions since 2018 to stay compliant to regulation. We have stayed away from any of those activities. So yeah, I mean, look, Gilbert has come from a background where he's had to comply to regulations before, and he is very much an enterprise guy. You know, he's even stated that he's an enterprise guy. He's not a crypto guy. So Gilbert understands what needs to be done in terms of regulation to make sure you don't fuck up and put your foot in it, right? With the SEC, with anyone. So complying to regulations from the very start, which is the reason why they are working with FINMA. Yeah, he understands. And I don't want to get into the whole Ripple thing. I don't want to get into the whole XRP thing. Maybe that's a discussion for another day. But I don't think we have any danger of seeing Quant fall into the same pitfalls as XRP and Ripple. You know, they've been very careful. So, as you said, we've stayed away from any of those activities, which is a good thing. It's a good thing to hear that we don't have to worry as much about that side of things in terms of XRP maybe being a security and all of that with the SEC. Personally, I don't think it looks good for XRP, but I know, you know, there are people in the community who, look, I don't know if they're brainwashed. I don't know whether they just know a hell of a lot more than I do and other people do, but they do not seem worried. And they seem and talk like this is all part of the master plan, which I have a hard time believing, but look, who am I to judge, right? They've clearly done more research than me, so I hope they're right for their sake. I hope they're right. I genuinely hope they're right as well. I'm not saying that in a in a horrible manner. I hope they're right because I don't want to see people get ruined. I don't want to see people get crushed. In terms of losing all of their money. I don't want to see people lose money. So hopefully, either they come to their senses and get out of XRP, or they are correct and all this is a part of their master plan and they do turn this around and XRP fulfills its potential. I don't want to see people lose money. Simple as that, really. So, look, thanks, Gilbert. Will every token lockup happen through the public Treasury address and be visible for everyone? Fees for Overledger Network, plus OVN fees, plus all enterprise, plus community fees. Gilbert replies, yes, all the activity of the Overledger Network will be available to view as all the payments, treasury, and the smart contracts that run it are all on-chain and viewable. So, that's good. There were some people who thought that might not be the case. Looks like it is, so that's pretty cool. Great, thanks. After OVN launch, will you push more awareness in the space to drive the ecosystem development? There are a lot of legit projects out there which would benefit from a quant partnership and vice versa. Gilbert replies, we are open to connect other projects to the Overledger network that will benefit the ecosystem. There's two ways. For us to add those connectors for our commercial clients to benefit, supported and run by Quant, or gateway operators using the open source connector can connect any project, resource, blockchain, API, etc. to their gateway for the rest of the ecosystem. So the first way, Quant will add those connectors. So I guess you look, when these banks and these institutions want to use a blockchain, and we're talking, I imagine about ones like Corda or Hyperledger or anything like that, they will connect them because they're seeing the demand. They see that these institutions want to use these specific blockchains because they're being essentially adopted, right? So Quant will do the work. They'll put the work in. They will connect them for their clients. But will they go and connect any old blockchain that people suggest, right? They're saying, no, we won't do that. But we will give you the tools to do that. So if you want to go and connect, I don't know, Cardano, you can go and do that. We're going to give you the tools. We'll give you the open source connector. You can build that out yourself. Maybe you can work with the project itself. We've got some new hot blockchain that's just come onto the market. Maybe it's Hafer. Maybe it's Avalanche. Go and connect it yourself because we're giving you the tools. So we're not going to do the work, but we'll give you the tools to do the work yourself. So covering all bases is good. We're already ruled out quite a few projects for us to connect them to OVN as they are not up to the grade our financial institutions and clients expect. So again, yeah, look, we're not going to spend the time doing it. But if you want to do it, if you feel like it's worth it, you can do it. We're also going to invite exchanges to apply to connect to the Overledger network and be a preferred supplier to transact and convert digital assets, cryptocurrencies and fiat to quant and vice versa. We're only going to allow regulated and registered We're only going to allow regulated and registered exchanges to participate. So we're not gonna mess about. We're gonna invite you. We're gonna invite these exchanges to connect. And if you want to be a part of this, you can. But you have to make sure you're regulated and you're registered, because we don't want to fall into any issues with the SEC. So if you're an unregulated exchange, you will not be invited and you will not be connecting. So regulation is coming in a huge way, and I think a lot of exchanges are going to feel the pain in 2021. And I'm not talking about little exchanges that no one really cares about. I'm talking about the biggest exchanges in the market. I personally think Binance is going to be hit quite hard by regulation, and I wouldn't be surprised if the SEC is already looking into them. I think Binance is I don't think they're going to not exist, but I think that they're going to be hit pretty hard by regulation. And I think that you'll just see their volumes dwindling because of that. And they're going to have to comply, and they're going to have to pivot. And if they can't, they won't be around anymore. But if they can pivot, we'll see what happens. But there's a lot of exchanges that are doing things the right way. And that's where I think a lot of people are going to turn to, because they're going to have to. So again, he's saying, look, exchanges, if you want to be a part of the Overledger network and help us, and like he said, transact and convert digital assets, cryptocurrencies and fiat to quant and vice versa, you can do so. We'll invite you to do so. Awesome. Thank you, Gilbert. Look forward to growing the ecosystem. What will the PR for Overledger Network and Quant look like in 2021? So this is what I said at the start, right? So we're not setting hard deadlines and timelines on things anymore. This openness hasn't worked at all times. We're providing rough timelines from now. From our track record, we've delivered and exceeded all our deadlines over the last 3 years, so you should continue to expect that from us. And look, he's not wrong, right? So they have delivered on their promises. They have. So I'm going to turn the light on now because, sorry, this is so unprofessional. But I'm not really a professional guy, so there we go. Right, we're all comfortable now. We're all comfy. So this is true, right? So Quant hasn't missed any deadlines really. You know, we've had the problem with crypto and the problem with the communities, and I can see why they get turned off by stuff like this. Is that the communities were very demanding, right? So when something, you know, if you said you're going to do it this week, then you bloody do it this week, right? And the community won't give you an inch on that. You need to make sure that you stick to your promises. So if you say Q2, you get it done by Q2. You say Q1, you get it done by Q1. And that's because, and look, maybe Gilbert's listened to this, I know, it's probably not, but the reason that is that you have to understand from the perspective of a community member, okay? They have put large amounts of money into your project. They have put a huge bet financially on your project. They are checking the price, they are checking developments, they are checking the channels, they are checking the social media. Every single day, they're checking everything. So, when a month goes by with nothing happening, and they've been checking not just every day, but multiple times throughout the day. So we're talking maybe thousands of times they've been checking, looking at things over the course of that month, and there's nothing. Look, you can understand why people start getting a bit antsy. You can understand why people start getting a bit of an itchy bum. You can understand why people start getting frustrated, right? Because they're looking for developments. So I'm going to turn the light off now. It's too bright now. My God. It's lucky I ain't got to edit this because I'd have to edit all this crap out. So you can understand why people get antsy, and when you're talking about, look, we're going to do it by the end of this month, and then every day goes by, and then we're getting closer and closer to the end of the month. You can understand why people start getting frustrated. But I can understand why Gilbert gets frustrated that the community gets so worked up, because as far as they're concerned, look, you may not be able to see it, but we're doing some fucking work back here. We're working, we're creating, we're inventing technologies, we're making this vision possible, and it's a lot of work and a lot of time, and we will get it done. But we need the time to do so. And then when you've got everyone saying, why the fuck are you not doing it? And they're saying, look, we are doing it, but we can't show you yet until it's done. It must be frustrating, right? So I do have some sympathies for Gilbert there. From our track record, we've delivered and exceeded all deadlines over the last 3 years, so you should continue to expect that from us. Our focus next year will be our external branding and messaging, and have hired a larger marketing team who have been working diligently to execute our vision and make Quant a known technology brand. I am aware of the sentiment in the community regarding marketing. We are not like a crypto project. We are conducting ourselves like the MasterCards and Microsofts of the world. We have done everything to the highest standard. I hope that you will appreciate that means being more strategic and aligning our efforts to business goals and objectives rather than driving hype. Seeing what has happened to Ripple should make people more appreciative of our approach. So, yeah, look, you're not wrong. He's not wrong, okay? But then again, saying you have hired a larger marketing team, that's great. Just hire a community manager and a social media manager. That's all we're asking for. That's it. So just communicate developments. It doesn't have to be developments. It can be anything. There's a picture of Gilbert in a chair in the office. Look at him working hard. That's all the community want. Just hire. Just make 1 or 2 hires in that department just to keep the community happy. Keep the sentiment up. You know, it's your duty to do so. You should not be ignoring that. So yeah, you can go and hire the larger marketing teams and to execute the vision and the brand. But that's all we're asking for. It doesn't mean you're a crypto project. It just means you're respecting the community. Okay? Just by saying, oh, well, hiring a social media manager or hiring a community manager means we're a crypto project, and we're not a crypto project. We're a goddamn enterprise. Like, look, it doesn't mean that. It just means you're respecting your damn community, the people who put all the time and effort into the project. That's all it means. So just I hope that they at some point hire a community manager, hire a social media manager, something, a bridge. Just respect the damn community. That's all we're asking. So Gilbert says, sorry, it's hard typing so much after Christmas break. So and Luke says, no worries. Doing really well. Thank you, Gilbert. Will you be releasing further information and documents around multi-chain oracles, interchange, seek, etc.? There is very little public information regarding these offerings. Gilbert said, yes, all of the siloed blockchain technologies that exist on single blockchains will be upgraded to multi-DLT versions on OVN that are interoperable and better suited for enterprise needs. More information on these will be available as are enabled on Overledger Network 2021. So, didn't really answer the question, but he kind of gave a little answer. Great, thanks. What is your plan to better assist and communicate with developers and gateway operators? Gilbert responds, we have mapped our the user's journey. He's had too much to drink over Christmas, I think. We have mapped out the user's journeys and user experience for community and enterprise clients. All of these will be online with OVN to have a rich developer and community engagement that you'd expect from a leading technology vendor like one. Luke responds, what timelines are you looking at for a possible CBDC proof of concept or deployment via Overledger? And Gilbert says, CBDCs, no comment. And everyone went, he's not working with CBDCs. No, it's all fucked up. And then he says, in all seriousness, and everyone went, oh, thank God. 2021 is the year that CBDCs will become real. We're at the forefront of CBDC technology and we'll be able to release more information about new technology and use cases in 2021. There's been a lot of work. There's been a lot of work in progress, and we're seeing a gravitational pull to possibly run CBDCs on Overledger. So what he's saying there is Overledger Network is growing to such a scale. The companies that are joining are large, and the central banks are seeing that. And there is a pull to start using the Overledger network. It makes sense to run the central bank digital currencies on the Overledger network due to the scale of it. It can handle it. It's something that they need. So that's exciting. We're at the forefront of CBDC technology, and we will be able to release more information about new technology and use cases in 2021. So that's cool. So there you go, folks. He's committed to 2021. They're going to talk about CBDCs. So, no, I'm joking. So, that's cool. We should see some form of public developments with Overledger and central banks, which will be great for the community. I'm sure everyone would love that. Awesome. Thank you, Gilbert. You mentioned the large-scale banking network, bigger than JPM's, so JP Morgan's, Interbank. I can't remember what it stands for. Looking to integrate into the Overledger network. Any updates you can provide us? Yes, large technology companies have hundreds or even thousands of financial institution clients who are all experimenting with blockchain. They are talking to us to create their own interbank networks for their clients and connect it to the Overledger network to interoperate with other consortiums, individual banks and the wider ecosystem. This is laying the foundations for a new digital asset network that complements and interoperates with the existing financial system. So again, like we said previously, like we said earlier in this video, which has already gone way longer than I thought it would. So these ecosystems feature thousands and hundreds of financial institution clients. And Overledger Network is making it possible for them to interoperate with each other, with other consortiums and other ecosystems. And it's laying the foundations for a new digital asset network. So, look, we are creating something fucking huge. That's the short of that. We are creating something bigger than JP Morgan's I need to, what is that? I'm going to look that up quick because this is going to annoy me. I'm going to spend the rest of this video trying to think of that and not concentrate on what I'm actually talking about. Interbank Information Network. Okay, cool. See, I knew that. I was just testing everyone. You see, I've already forgot it. Interbank Information Network. Okay, cool. So Epic. Maybe one more before opening it up. Overledger Network is going to need an exchange connected to the Treasury to properly function. Unfortunately, we are still in a poor situation regarding liquidity and accessibility. Can you provide us any updates with regards to your 2020 exchange strategy? Have you had to pivot your preferences, and do you have a plan moving forward that will yield real results? Gilbert sighed. He went, "Oh, I've got exchanges." And then he said, "Yes, mentioned it a couple of questions up. We've been only meeting with regulated and registered, important for US and SEC to be registered digital asset exchanges. We've progressed many of these discussions, and they in turn will be able to run and connect to Overledger Network to serve our clients and the ecosystem." So what he's saying there is, look, everyone is expecting us to list on Binance. Everyone's expecting us to list on Huobi or whatever. And what he's essentially saying there is that's not going to happen. We're not taking that approach. We're not going to be paying £1 million plus to list on an exchange. And I've spoke to other people who run other exchanges, and the sorts of figures that we're talking there, like 1 million plus, makes them sick. That's so much money for a listing. It's borderline criminal. So they're not playing ball, which is fair enough. And what they're saying is, look, with the Overledger Network, we've taken a completely different approach. Okay, so they are talking to exchanges right now, but not for that purpose. They're talking about them to connect to the Overledger Network so they can serve their clients and the overall ecosystem. So they're working on something larger. So I would imagine they're talking to traditional exchanges. They're talking to cryptocurrency regulated exchanges. We already know that CoinMetro is an exchange they previously talked to. Hopefully those discussions pick up again. We know about Six, the SDX. Is it a Six exchange? So we know that they're talking to traditional players, and they need these regulated, registered exchanges to serve their clients. So they're taking a different approach, not like regular projects. And if you're in a project and they pay for a Binance listing, I question that decision. I do question that decision. As much as, look, if I'm in a project and they list on Binance, that's where the volume is right now. Okay, I'll hold my hands up. Great, right? But you have to question the project to go and pay £1 million plus for a listing. It's kind of crazy when you can spend that money elsewhere in R&D and hires and expanding the teams and the project. It's a lot of money. £1 million is a lot of money. Awesome. Thank you, Gilbert. Really appreciate you stopping by and giving us some insight info. And he said, I'll open it up for some free discussion. And Gilbert said, thank you, Luke, for the immense work. Thank you for your work. That's what he said there. We'll open it up. So Ollie, the man, woman, one day to the next. Hey, Gilbert, will we see Overledger enterprise fees on the Overledger Network dashboard, or will those not be public? Gilbert says, hi, Ollie. As mentioned, as with all software companies, enterprise pricing and licensing is commercially sensitive to our clients and won't be published. A large company won't like it if they find out their competitor got 26% off the price of $10 million of Apple equipment when they got 6% off. It's the way enterprise operate. And look, that's true, right? So if you're going to go to enterprise and say, look, we are going to make everything public, all the deals, all the fees, and we're going to make it completely public, you're not going to get any clients, because those clients are not going to want that. They're not going to join your network. So there is sensitive information, and that's fair enough. It's a fair answer, and it's a fair decision. Kev says, hi, Gilbert. Can you shed any light on offline CBDCs? I've seen Visa and China talk about them. Is Quant situated for those? Gilbert said, we like what Visa have done with offline CBDCs. It fits. So Visa is interesting. Gilbert has mentioned Visa time and time again, and Visa has been talking about the network of networks recently. So Visa is a very interesting one, because Visa is one of the largest payment companies in the world. So if there is something there, and Visa potentially could be a member of the Overledger network, they could connect, that would be huge. And Visa, I'm pretty sure Visa had members on the ODAP panels and meetings recently on the Open Digital Assets Protocol. I'm pretty sure there was members from Visa on that. So look, maybe there's something there. Maybe just Gilbert likes talking about Visa. I don't know, but that's interesting. Keep an eye on that one. This is a new technology in space, and everyone is doing their bit to create it. We're laying the infrastructure for CBDCs and making CBDCs interoperable. Again, interoperable for wholesale and retail CBDCs. The meant stick and cross-border payments. So he's not saying we want to lay the infrastructure for CBDCs. He's saying we are laying the infrastructure for CBDCs. So just because it's not public doesn't mean it's not happening. I think that's important for people to realize. Just because they haven't come out and said, the Bank of England haven't come out and said, look, we're using Overledger, right? Doesn't mean that it's not happening. Doesn't mean that there is stuff there. Now, what he's saying there is we are laying the infrastructure for CBDCs, and we are making CBDCs interoperable. I'm just going to say, I'm going to put the T in it, interoperable. So it's interesting. Again, the scale of this behind the scenes, Gilbert can see it. Maybe that's why he's not worrying so much about communication. Maybe that's why he's not worrying so much about interacting with the community so much, because he knows once all this comes to light, it's going to blow the doors off the car anyway, right? We're going to see such an explosion through maybe usage and volume anyway, because we're talking about CBDCs, we're talking about central banks, we're talking about Visa potentially, maybe we're talking about Microsoft. I don't know, but we're talking about huge companies and institutions using this network. So look, when you see it, you'll see it, okay? And you'll be happy that we've spent all that time not talking, and we spent all of that time putting the damn work in to make this a reality. So this really amazing, good-looking guy called DREADBONBO says, also, SEC wanted me to ask about when Binance. And Gilbert said, when Binance? And everyone chuckled and said, ha, he's one of us. He's one of us, guys. So Gilbert said, the thing is, when OVN goes live and gateways interoperate, I said that properly, interoperate, there won't be a need for Binance. There won't be a need to Binance. Gateways can facilitate digital asset transactions across OVN for any user on enterprise. Exchanges will have their place for retail trading, and we will select regulated ones for crypto and fiat conversions. So again, he's just reiterating what he said previously. There'll be no need for Binance. We're taking a different approach. Can we at least buy monthly AMAs? Gilbert said, we have our marketing strategy set by the team. There will be regular engagement. So what he's saying there, Ollie, in case you didn't realize, is he's saying, no, there won't be bi-monthly AMAs. No. We're going to be doing things a different way. Whether you like it or not, this is how it is now. So put up or shut up. That's essentially what he's saying to you. Hope you got that. Gilbert said, very good chatting to you again. Hope you have a good new year. And here's to a fantastic 2021 for you. And that concluded the AMA. So, considering it was a community AMA, I am a bit peeved that he didn't answer more community questions directly from the community when it opened up. But it was a good AMA. It was a good AMA. There was a lot of information there. Maybe he didn't answer some questions directly, but he gave us a great insight into the scale of the Overledger Network and what they're working on. And I think 2021 is very much, the focus is very much the Overledger Network. I think that is the crown jewels. And we're not necessarily going to see much else, I think. I think everything's going to be centered around the Overledger Network. And that's the direction Quant's taking now. And it's look, you can tell by the AMA it's a huge thing, right? And I hope I've been able to give you a little bit of insight into why that's huge. And I genuinely believe that the Overledger Network is going to be the single biggest development in the entirety of crypto. And it's going to be one of the most groundbreaking technologies to have ever been invented. If all of this, which he is saying, is true, then no doubt it's one of the greatest inventions in technology. To allow all of these financial institutions, to allow these banks, to allow these consortiums, to allow these central banks to all interoperate and use blockchain and DLT technology. Distributed ledger technology I just said, but to allow them to use this in a way that they've never been able to use before, it's huge. So things are slow at time, price maybe lags behind, but the vision and what the team are doing behind the scenes is huge. And I think it's only a matter of time before price catches up to the reality of how much this technology is valued at, which is huge. And look, right? I've said this before. I've said this to people privately. I've said this to people publicly. I've said this to people on Twitter. If all of this is true, okay, and Gilbert is not a liar, and I don't think he's a liar. If all this is true, if we have central banks, if we have financial institutions, if we have consortiums, if we have normal banks, if we have large system integrators, if we have some of the largest technology companies in the world, payments companies, all using Overledger Network and all connecting, there is no way in hell that Quant's valuation is less than Ethereum's. There is no way in hell, because from the pure fact that the Quant token is essential and the Quant token captures the usage of the Overledger network, the usage alone will blow the doors off. It will create so much value that 82 or $85 billion market cap, I think we're at right now, it far surpasses that. This is my opinion, okay? But there's no way in hell that amount of volume. Central bank volume is nuts, guys. It's nuts. Go and look out. Go and do some research and look at how much central bank volume flows through a central bank in a single day, and you'll be shocked. You'll be staggered. It's so much. And if Quant even captures a fraction of that, then the valuations are going to skyrocket. They're going to be insane. So yes, we are talking 100 billion market cap, north of 100 billion. We are talking ridiculous amounts of money flowing through the network, the Overledger network. So price will catch up to these developments. I've no doubt. But the time frame, your guess is as good as mine. But there we go. I thought we'd go through the AMA, keep it free form, keep it light, and talk through it. If you have any questions, you can put them below. You can contact me on Twitter. You can contact me on Telegram, and we can have a good old discussion. But until the next AMA, which hopefully is not as long of a wait as this one has been, I'll speak to you guys soon. So, hurrah.